Okay. Good news. Today's a fast. Everybody likes to fast, right? Then you don't have to worry about digestion. No fasting, fasting means no digestion. That's good. It means you get more energy. Where were you? You weren't dancing. What happened? We just had kirtan. Where were you? Okay, we'll let you go this time. Next time I'll tell Radhanath Swami you don't like to dance anymore. Should I tell him that? No? No, okay. I won't tell him. You're the lead dancer, so if you don't hear the ladies, they look like they're dancing, but we're not sure. You got to lead all the ladies and show them how to dance, you know. Next time. You're saving for Harinam. Okay. No book? We got a book. Okay. Goes there. 10.1.24. Om Gyan Timirandasya Gyanajana Salakaya Chaksu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Pastyatya De Satarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhubhevacha Titanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivinoda. One of us is lazy. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare. I think it's me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I heard something. There was some sound in the atmosphere. Let's try again. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Getting better. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is from Canto 10, Chapter 1, The Advent of Lord Krishna. It's from the introductory text number 24. Vasudeva Kalanataha Sahara Vadana Swarat Agrato Bhavita Devo Hare Priya Chikirsaya Vasudeva Kalanatha Sahasra Vadana Swarat Agrato Bhavata Devo Hare Priya Jikir Saya Vasudeva Kalanatha Saharas Vadana Swarat Agrato Bhavata Devo Hare Priya Jikir Saya Vasudeva Ladies? Anyone else?
Vasudeva Kalananta.
Vasudeva Kalananta.
Sakratsa Vandanak Swarat.
Sahasra Vandanak Swarat.
Agrato Bhavita Devo.
Agrato Bhavita Devo.
Hare Priya Chikirshaya.
Hare Priya Chikirshaya.
Vasudeva Kala Ananta. The plenary expansion of Lord Krishna, known as Ananta Deva, or Sankarshan Ananta, the all-pervasive incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Sahasra Vadana, having thousands of hoods. Swarat, fully independent. Agrata, previously. Bhavata, will appear. Deva, the Lord. Harehi, of Lord Krishna. Priya Chikir Saya, with the desire to act for the pleasure. Translation. The foremost manifestation of Krishna is Sankarshana, who is known as Ananta. He is also the origin of all incarnations within this material world. Previously to the appearance of Lord Krishna, this original Sankarshan will appear as Baladev, just to please the Supreme Lord in his transcendental pastimes. Srila Prabhupada's short purport. Sri Baladev is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. He is equal in supremacy to the Supreme Godhead, yet wherever Krishna appears, Sri Baladev appears as his brother, sometimes elder and sometimes younger. When Krishna appears, all his plenary expansions and other incarnations appear with him. This is elaborately explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. This time, Baladev would appear before Krishna as Krishna's elder brother. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, wherever the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in his original form, that is Krishna himself, Krishna of Vrindavan, Baladev is also there. Of course, when he appeared as Lord Ramachandra, Lord Baladev came as Sankarshana. I'm sorry, not Sankarshana, but as Lakshman. Yeah, and of course, when Lord Chaitanya came, he appeared as Lord Nityananda. Brajendra Nandanaye, Sachi Sutta Hoilo Se, Balaram Hoilo Nitai. To think there's any difference between Balaram and Nityananda, one is labeled as an atheist. There's no difference. They're just same person in two forms, that's all. But their moods are different. When Baladev came, and he was with Krishna, they spent most of their time together in Vrindavan. And there are always demons attacking. So Baladev was also assisting Krishna in his pastimes of killing the demons. And as his best friend, Sakyaras, he was enjoying with Krishna as his friend, playing many games with the other cowherd boys. So they're always together. Their relationship is very deep and very intimate. You'll see even Krishna likes to glorify his big brother, Balaram. Big brother in the last two incarnations, when he was with Lakshman, he was the younger brother. And that's a whole story. Why he changed from younger brother to older brother. Because when he was as Lakshman, he had to carry out certain instructions given by Lord Ram, and he didn't want to do it. But it is explained that the younger brother must obey the older brother. So in that incarnation, he was forced, you might say, to do things that he didn't really want to do because he felt it wasn't appropriate. But he couldn't question his bigger brother, and therefore out of obedience, but at the same time with some hesitation, he had, in other words, when he had to deliver Sita outside of Ayodhya to Valmiki's ashram, to ban Sita, he was the one to drive the chariot to bring Sita there. He didn't want to do it. He couldn't see why Sita had to be banned, but that was Ram's innermost mood of reuniting with his pleasure potency in the transcendental realm. They both used that as a disappearance pastime. But Lakshman wasn't seeing it the same way. So therefore he said, no more younger brother, forget this. I'm coming as older brother, and therefore I can, accept or not accept. And that happened a few times, even when Balaram and Krishna disagreed on different things. Balaram did what he wanted, and Krishna did what he wanted. But they always do it in a loving way, although they appear to disagree. Their love is so deep and so hard to understand that it cannot be explained. So here, he becomes the elder brother in this incarnation. What is Balaram? He is Guru Tattva. What does that mean? That all of the manifestations that play the role of the spiritual master in this material world are coming from the line of Srimad Bhagavatam, Balaram. Sometimes they also say they come from the line of Srimati Radharani, but that's a special mood of the Vrindavan mood. Of course, Balaram's also in the Vrindavan mood. But generally, the Guru is the representative of the Lord Balaram, who is the original spiritual master. And how does he show his service to the Supreme Lord as Balaram? He manifests himself according to the Shakti that is needed for those who take the role of Guru to do their service. In other words, he's the inner mood of the spiritual master. In other words, the spiritual master is non-different than Nityananda and Balaram. And we should see him like that. Not that he thinks he is, but for the disciples it must be seen that the Guru is actually non-different than Balaram. And therefore, he is worshipped in the mood of being the representative of the Supreme Lord in the same way we would worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, what is Balaram's service? It's very complex and very interesting at the same time. When Krishna expands, now, that creates a certain mindset that is difficult to understand. How, when Krishna expands, he expands into himself, into another form of himself, who is different than himself, but at the same time not different. And that's the immediate expansion is Balaram. So sometimes we think that Balaram comes from Krishna. He does and he does not. He's eternal. Because expansion seems to indicate something that is happening in a certain period of time. But in the spiritual world, there's no time. So everything exists in its pure spiritual essence eternally. But what is this idea of expansion? For the sake of understanding how the spiritual Shakti, or the manifestation of the different forms, play their role in relationship to Krishna. That's how it's understood. So for an example, Krishna expands into Balaram. Then what does Balaram do? He expands again into what is called Chaturvyuha. Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Vasudeva. This is called Chatur, means four manifestations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead for simple, different functions. Okay? So that's the essence of that first expansion. But then Chaturvyuha expands again into the Narayan features. So the entire spiritual world is made up of different forms of Lord Narayan who have different planets. They each have their own planet. And there are innumerable, uncountable, unlimited planets in the spiritual world. Everything spiritual is unlimited. Everything material is limited. Therefore, you can't understand spiritual by using material logic. You simply have to accept it based on the authority, and that's all. And some people don't like to accept something that they can't understand by logic, by reason, by empirical observation. But when it comes to the realm of spiritual, it is a hoaxaja. It's beyond the range of the senses, and therefore it can only be accepted coming from the pure spiritual authorities, which is Krishna himself, coming through the representatives down to us, the spiritual masters in line. And so Narayan is manifested. Now Narayan expands again into the second Chaturvyuha. So Chaturvyuha expands for the second time. But in the second time, Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Sankarshan, the second Sankarshan, which is a manifestation of the energy of Balaram, expands into Mahavishnu. And this is where the material world starts to manifest. The material world is manifested and unmanifested. It's eternal, but the manifestations are temporary. In other words, there'll always be a material world. Isn't that good news? There'll always be a jail for the prisoners. That's the material world. But it comes and it goes according to what they call the eternal clock, the cosmological clock. And that's after billions and billions and billions of years. The material energy is wound up into the body of Lord Mahavishnu. And that Mahavishnu is an expansion of Lord Balaram. So Balaram initiates the creation by expanding into Mahavishnu, who is the source of the material energy. In the body of Mahavishnu contains all of the living entities who are there from the previous manifestation. And then, when the time comes, then those living entities are released from the body of Mahavishnu, and then the material energy starts to gel and separate, and then the living entities again pick up their body from their last manifestation. Sometimes people say, or sometimes people question, why, if you're performing devotional service, and that's at the end of the creation, what happens when the annihilation comes, does that mean you go back into the body of Mahavishnu and stay there? And you cannot continue in your devotional service? Because it's a sleep state. It's called Yoga Nidra. The living entities are in the body of Mahavishnu, but they're inactive. Just like when you go to sleep, you're not aware of anything. But in the same time, we sleep for billions of years in the body of Mahavishnu. And then when the time comes out, we go out again and pick up where we left off in the last manifestation. And this is how the universal energy manifests and pulls it back. Creation, annihilation, creation, manifestation, annihilation, creation, manifestation. Continues to go. But those living entities that are engaged in pure devotional service, when the annihilation comes, they don't have to go into the body of Mahavishnu, they go back to the spiritual world. Even if you're not pure. That's a special feature. So stick around to the end of the annihilation. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you really want to try, you can get an easy ride to the spiritual world. Special mercy. Anyway, this is a very interesting point because people think what happens, because devotional service is never impeded by anything material. And then when the winding up of the manifestation happens, what happens? Then those who are performing devotional service, even if they're not pure, they go back home, back to Godhead. It's interesting. You can get special mercy for those. So Balaram expands in so many different forms. But when he comes to the material world, he takes on different forms also. In each of the rasas, we have 5 rasas. What is neutrality, dasya ras, servitude, sakya ras, friendship, vatsalya ras, parental affection, and madhurya ras, conjugal love. Balaram takes each one of these rasas and appears in a particular form to assist Krishna in his service within that particular rasa. Isn't that amazing? How Balaram wants to serve. He loves to serve Krishna. But he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as we read from this particular verse. Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai, Panchatattva Ki Jai. So his service to the Lord is unlimited. So in neutrality, he becomes the Lord's shoes. That's Balaram. So those of you who are doing deity worship, those shoes are not different than Balaram. He becomes the Lord's crown. He becomes the Lord's bedstead. He becomes the Lord's paraphernalia for worship. The arti paraphernalia is also Lord Balaram. Don't drop it. And not all, but some of the jewelry is Balaram. Some of it's not. He's not the cheap imitation jewelry. He's the real stuff. Because we use, And yes, thank you. And Mridanga is also Balaram, like that. So take care of the Mridanga as if you were worshipping Lord Balaram himself. Yeah. It's called Balaram Mridanga. So he manifests in the neutrality ras in these different forms to assist in the Sankirtan movement, like that. In Dasya ras, he serves Krishna in different ways. In Sakya ras, he's Krishna's friend. He plays with Krishna along with the other cowherd boys. And they dance together, they play together, they eat prasadam together, they laugh together. If you're in Sakya ras, they always joke. They're always laughing. And they tell the most stupidest jokes. And the gopis say, "You cowherd boys and they criticize Krishna, you're always hanging around with your foolish cowherd boys, always telling funny, bad jokes. The gopis are more serious, but they also laugh too. But the cowherd boys will say anything just to make fun. They'll make sounds, and then they'll laugh. They'll roll on the ground and say, Krishna, come and touch me. And Krishna comes and touches them, and they feel, oh, so happy. Or they see Krishna from a distance, and they think, oh, where's Krishna? Let's see who can touch Krishna first. So they all run as fast as they can, and Krishna's hiding. They can't find him. And then one boy finds him, and Krishna, and he says, yeah, I got Krishna first, ha ha. And he makes fun of the other cowherd boys for losing. So there's competition in the spiritual world, but it's all nice. It's not like the competition in the material world. When you lose, you feel bad. Or if you win, you think you're better than others. It's always like really friendly and loving and joking. That's the cowherd boys. So Balaram's there. He plays with Krishna also. And then in Vatsalya Ras, Mother Yasoda is worried because Krishna is sometimes, he doesn't listen to his mother. Any of you had that problem? You're all good children, okay. Mother, don't tell me what to do. I'll do what I want. You don't say that, but you do it anyway. When you're growing up, you're kind of rebellious, right? Except the girls are always nice. The boys don't like to listen to anybody. Anyway, we grow up like that. And so Krishna, he doesn't listen to his mother. Can I come for lunch? Then she calls Balaram. Balaram, bring him to lunch, will you? And Balaram brings him to lunch because he has to listen to Balaram because he's his older brother. So he plays the role of a parent to Krishna as Balaram in the Vatsalya Ras. Now in Madhurya Ras, we don't know too much, but we hear Radharani has a younger sister named Anangamanjari, and Balaram manifests his form as Anangamanjari, and also has Rasa Leela with Krishna in the form of a gopi. But we don't read so much about that. It's something that is not mentioned so much. It's hard to find in the Shastras, but it is mentioned a few times, so we know it's factual. So in that mood of Madhurya Ras, he becomes the younger sister of Radharani, known as Anangamanjari. So this is to illustrate how Lord Balaram likes to serve. He likes to serve in different ways. Where's the book? What happened to the book? So for us, what is our relationship to Balaram? Prabhupada said we pray to Balaram for spiritual strength. He can give you spiritual strength because he is the manifestation of Guru in its ultimate form of mercy. So we pray different ways to Lord Balaram because the nature of bhakti is that it has a tendency to go down unless you're really making an effort to keep your bhakti strong. If you get a little lazy or you get a little bit lax in your bhakti, you'll start feeling less and less enthusiastic. It happens. Bhakti is something that you have to cultivate constantly. You always have to be moving. Why? Because the material energy works in such a way as to push us towards the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Material energy is always dragging us down, trying to drag us down. But therefore, we have to pray to Lord Balaram, please give me that mercy, give me that strength so I can stay fixed in devotional service. And also give me the mercy that I can approach Krishna in the mood of devotion. So he's there. He's always with Krishna. He's very merciful. So devotees have a very intimate relationship with Lord Balaram. And we pray to him, please give me your mercy. And Balaram's very kind. Now he's appeared again as Lord Nityananda. Nitai pada kamalam koti chandra sushitala yechayaya jagadudya. That the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, which are non-different than Balaram, is the place where you can find pure devotional service. If we take shelter of Lord Nityananda, and again, he's Guru Tattva. Although he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he plays the role of Guru Tattva. So there's a nice verse in the 8th chapter of this same canto. Let's see if I can find the actual verse. 10:8. I'll have to look up the reference here. Forgot the verse. This is very interesting, this particular verse. Ten, 8. Okay, we got the page. And 10, 8, 12, I think it is. Yeah. Now, we understand, because I'm going to speak tonight about the parents of Lord Balaram, because we're supposed to speak again. We try not to say the same thing twice, but that's not always easy. So tonight we'll speak a little bit more about his appearance, but I'll mention it this morning. When Kamsa had imprisoned Devaki and Vasudeva, because he had heard the omen that the 8th son of Devaki was going to be the cause of his death, and he was about to kill his sister, Devaki. But Vasudeva acted quickly and found many ways to somehow divert the attention away from killing by promising Kamsa that he would deliver each of the children to him. Now, what happened was, when the first child was born, Vasudeva, man of words, very difficult to do, to take your child to a demon and have the demon kill. Can you imagine that? What to speak of the mother? It's not possible to understand how much suffering that would cause the mother and the father. But he did it, and he brought that child to Kamsa. Kamsa said, I'm not worried about this child, it's the 8th child. So you take that child back. But what happened, it was Narada Muni. Narada Muni Bhajai Vina Radhika Ramanana. He plays on the Veena. He chants Hare Krišna, but he also sings Radhika Raman. He's singing the glories of the Lord. He came to Kamsa. He says, Kamsa, you never know where that child's being born. Actually, he could be anywhere. And Kamsa took the words of Narada Muni and started sending his demon friends to kill every child that was born within the last 10 days. When we say this is really what is called child abuse. We should alert the Child Protection Agency to make them do something. Of course, I don't think they could deal with Kamsa. But this was what was happening. And so then Kamsa got really fearful and started to kill all of the children that was born of Vasudeva. But Krishna was concerned. When the 7th child appeared, it was actually Lord Balaram in the womb of Devaki. Now, Devaki is pregnant with Balaram. Now, Krishna says to Subhadra, his internal energy, Yogamaya, the spiritual energy. Yogamaya and Mahamaya are non-different. One is the spiritual energy of illusion, and the other one's the material energy of illusion. So he said to Yogamaya, you have a service. You have to transfer Balaram out of the womb of Devaki and bring him to the womb of Rohini, who is in Vrindavan, and that way Balaram will be safe from being attacked by Kamsa. She thought, how am I going to do that? The Supreme Personality of Godhead is appearing, and me, I have to take him out of that womb and bring him to another womb. Krishna said, don't worry. She was thinking, I can't do it. It's beyond my power to do it. But Krishna said, don't worry, I will give you the power. But this is a very important point. When we want to do something, that is the instructions of the spiritual master, or something in line with the spreading of devotional service, we become empowered. So there's no limit what the devotee can do when they are empowered by the Lord. They can change the whole world simply by that empowerment, if they have faith and they work in that way according to the instructions of the spiritual master. There's no limit. And you see how Krishna consciousness now is spreading quite fast. It's spreading really fast. And I just came back from America. I was there for a little over 2 months. Actually it was 2 months to the day. It was 2 months. And I'm seeing people that I had seen before now becoming really serious and taking to Krishna consciousness. And it's happening everywhere. Temples are opening. People are starting to really become more and more serious. Many of them are coming from Indian backgrounds. Others are coming from Western backgrounds. It's growing fast. But at the same time, the demons are also growing fast. Hare Krishna. The middle of the road is becoming less. It's always been like the middle of the road was always the majority of the world's population. And the devotees were small and the demons were small, but now the demons are coming bigger and the devotees are becoming bigger. And the middle of the road is going either one way or the other. Yeah, so that's happening in the world. You can start to see it. And so Krishna consciousness so the empowerment comes from the Lord. When the Lord empowers a devotee who accepts that empowerment and works to carry out the instructions of the Lord, and anything can possibly happen. Therefore, Krishna told Yogamaya, I'm going to give you the power. And she made the effort. And one time, Devaki woke up, and then she thought, I had a miscarriage. There's no child. It was already gone. But at the same time, Rohini was pregnant in Vrindavan, and she had a miscarriage. But at the same time, that baby that she had was replaced by Balaram. So Balaram was safe now as the son of Rohini in Vrindavan, and as he appeared. That's why he's sometimes seen as the brother of Krishna. Because Rohini and Mother Yasoda were like two sisters. Although they weren't sisters, they were so close to each other. And they raised both childs simultaneously. So Krishna and Balaram were like brother and brother, although two separate mothers. Interesting. This is the quality of the Vedic culture, that when people are so close together, they adopt that mood of family members. And just like sometimes you'll talk to certain Indians, and they'll say, well, that's my brother, or that's my sister. But it's not. They're so close. They're actually cousins. But they say cousin brother, cousin sister. And they actually, isn't that right? Yeah, she can tell you. She has the experience. The families are so close that they align themselves with the cousins as brothers and sisters, like that. So that was there. So now Balaram is safe, and then when Kamsa came for the 7th child. Well, there she had a miscarriage on the 7th child. And then now Kamsa's waiting for the 8th child, and then that was Krishna, ultimately. So here it says, I'll read. The child, the son of Rohini, he will give all happiness to his relatives and friends by his transcendental qualities. He was known as Rama. Another name for Balaram is Rama. And because he will manifest extraordinary bodily strength, he will be known as Bala. So some people mistakenly think that Balaram means physical strength, but no, it means spiritual strength. That strength that is beyond physical strength, that strength that helps one to reach the stage of pure devotional service. And the verse goes on to say, moreover, because he unites both families, Vasudev's family and the family of Nanda Maharaj, he will be known as Sankarshana. So Balaram is mentioned here as 3 names, Rama, Bala, and Sankarshana. I'll read the purport. Balaram was actually the son of Devaki, but he was transferred from Devaki's womb to that of Rohini. This fact was not disclosed. According to the statement in the Hari Vamsa, Gargamuni did disclose to Nanda Maharaj that Balaram would be known as Sankarshan because of uniting 2 families, the Yadu Vamsa and the Vamsa of Nanda Maharaj, one of which was known as the Kshatriyas and the others were as Vaishyas. And you'll see that. Vasudeva was a Kshatriya and Nanda Maharaj was Vaishya. Both families had the same original forefather, the only difference being that Nanda Maharaj was born of a Vaishya wife, whereas Vasudeva was born of a Kshatriya wife. Later, Nanda Maharaj married a Vaishya wife, and Vasudeva married a Kshatriya wife. So although the families of Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva both came from the same father, they were divided as Kshatriya and Vaishyas. Now Balaram united them, and therefore his name is known as Sankarshanam. So he brings both families together in a very, what we say, intimate way. Before the intimacy was less. And so the appearance of Balaram brought them both together. So Balaram is actually, he's Krishna himself in the form of the manifestation of the pure spiritual master, or the Guru Tattva that manifests all of it. So there's so many pastimes we could speak about Balaram, and we'll speak a little bit tonight about some of these pastimes. There's one pastime. I should tell at least one pastime now. Anybody have a favorite Balaram pastime? Which one do you like? Kalindi, you got the name Kalindi. You should know all about Balaram. Kalindi Jamuna Jaya. Balaram and Kalindi. Kalindi is the wife of Balaram, you know that. You didn't know you were already married. You don't have to worry about getting her married. She's I'm seeing. Made it easy for you, huh? And you can't find a better husband than that. He's not going to go away. So yeah, Balaram. Yeah. Any particular pastime anyone would be? Yes. Yeah.
With the Divida with the monkey, this pastime I really like how he's smashing it.
Which one is that? The monk? Oh, Divida Gorilla?
Yes.
Oh, that guy is really abominable. Divida Gorilla, yeah. Yeah, the sages were performing some yagya. And every time they would get the yagya going, and the fire would be blazing, and the mantras would be offered into the fire, Divida would show up, and he would pass urine and stool on the yagya and pollute the whole yagya. And then he would make all kinds of funny faces and make sounds like something like that. That's a poor example of Dvita. He was worse than that. But I'm not going to try to reach his level of expression because we're all nice people here. Anyway, he's a monkey. I'm sure you guys are really good. Nobody fell over when I did that. It's good. You guys are fixed in your devotional service. You can recognize monkeys when they come. Even before they come. So Balaram. So Balaram happened to be touring at the time. And then the sages, when they saw Balaram, they welcomed. And they told him that every time we get to the point of consummating the yajna, getting the benefit, this monkey comes and he just starts throwing all kinds of foul substances on our sacrifice and ruins the whole thing. And he runs away. But every time he would do it, he comes back again. So stay here. We know that you are the Supreme Lord Himself, and you can help us. So Balaram agreed. And then Dvita showed up again. And then he was about to do his thing. But what did Balaram do? What was the first thing he did do you remember? Balaram did something to stop him. I forgot what it was. But they had a big fight. The fight was really good. I'll get to the fight because devotees like to fight, right? That's all we do. That's all we do. If we not, that's our favorite activity. Prabhupada used to say, where do you get the propensity to fight? From Krishna, because he likes to fight. So now Balaram is protecting, but at the same time he's trying to stop this gorilla. So Dvita gets angry and he starts picking up trees. And he starts throwing trees at Balaram. And then Balaram is just catching the trees and throwing it back at him. And so there's a big fight, trees are going back and forth. And then Dvita starts picking up big rocks and throwing it. And Balaram starts playing baseball. It's an American sport. And he picks up a tree, and then when he throws the rock, he hits the rock with the tree, and it's the original baseball started by Balaram. You didn't know he was the source of baseball. And then they're fighting, and I can't remember how he killed him. Do you remember how he killed him? Oh yeah, he took the tree and smashed it on his collarbone, and then the monkey was no longer doing monkey business. That was the last banana he ate. So Balaram just, dispatched him to the abode of Yamaraj. So the Supreme Personality of God, and this is also very significant. Krishna, in the form of Balaram, protects the devotees always. Devotees have nothing to fear from the material energy because the Lord gives full protection for anyone who engages in devotional service. As long as we act properly. If we act wrongly, then we put ourselves in what we call a situation where we can get some difficulty come upon us. As long as our behavior is properly, normal behavior, Krishna will always protect his devotees. Even in the most dangerous situation. So devotees have nothing to worry about. That's why we can preach. We can go anywhere to preach, and as long as we're preaching, Krishna will always protect the devotee. There may be some difficulties, that's there, but still the devotee will always come out ahead. That is Krishna's mercy. So we're protected by the mercy of Balaram, which is the mercy manifestation of Krishna coming in the form of Guru, who gives guidance and instructions, practical guidance. What does Guru do? He gives you philosophical knowledge, which you can use to understand the process of devotional service, and he also gives you practical guidance on how best you can serve. A lot of times devotees don't go to Guru for that part because they don't want to hear what they have to do. Did you know Guru Maharaj? I have this nice service I want to do and I just need your approval. That's all. And I know you're very merciful, and the service is also, I think you'll like it. So give me your blessings. And the Guru says, I think you got it backwards. I'm supposed to tell you. Well, that was in the old days. This is the new age now. The new age, we're more progressive. We like to. Everyone has to understand that we're all equal. You know, we're all spirit souls. Therefore, we're all equal. Hare Krishna. Right, Prabhu? Correct? Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, we have to be, yeah, so this is how we serve. We serve by trying to say, how best can I serve? And if the spiritual master says, you can work under the guidance of your local authorities and whatever they dictate, then that's fine. That's this, the Guru also gives that, what we say, option. He may not always tell you what to do. He may give you guidance under the present authorities, so you can execute your devotional service. And you could also, if you think of ways on how to expand devotional service, the Guru is happy. The devotee becomes creative or innovative and starts thinking how to spread Krishna consciousness in different ways, like that. Just like I had this one disciple. His name was Janakinath. I think maybe some of you remember him. He came here. He succumbed to cancer and he passed away in the year 2021. But when he had cancer for about 4 or 5 years, getting various types of treatments, and he was in the hospital. When he was in the hospital, he wasn't a patient, he was a preacher. The nurses would go to his bed and they couldn't find him. He'd be walking around preaching to the other patients. And then what he did was he arranged for a yatra, a retreat at Bhaktivedanta Manor in London, and brought all the cancer patients, some of them that were willing to come, some doctors and some nurses and some staff members from the hospital. And they all came and they celebrated a cancer retreat. Hare Krishna. So he created this idea of bringing cancer patients to the temple to give them a spiritual experience. And it lasted a few days. And some of those people were terminal. And later on, after some time, they left the world. But because he was so merciful, although he had cancer, he didn't let cancer stop his preaching. He kept his preaching going. And he was getting his treatments, but preaching at the same time. I actually tried to bring him to India, to one cancer hospital in Gujarat. He didn't want to go. He wanted to stay in London and continue his preaching. He was so determined to stay fixed, and he was distributing books. He was creating different programs for bringing people in. He was innovative in his preaching. But he had terminal cancer. And he was undergoing chemotherapy in different ways. And it was not easy for him to do that. But he didn't let his physical situation slow him down. It slowed him down a little bit, obviously, but he didn't want to. So that, and obviously, when he left the world, the way he left the world was amazing, really amazing. He was suffering tremendously from the pain of cancer had spread throughout his whole body. But at the last moment, somehow or other, Krishna did something and took all of his pain away just before he left. he sat up in a yoga position with his eyes closed, with a big smile on his face, and left the world. Devotees were there. And they actually recorded that. The nurses were shocked. They said, "What is this? Who's this person?" The pain was really bad, but somehow, just at that last moment, Krishna just took all the pain away, and he just sat up in a yoga position with eyes closed, a big smile on his face. He was seeing something that no one else could see, and he left the world. That was glorious. Because he dedicated his life to preaching Krishna consciousness in such a way that he sacrificed his own personal interests for the welfare of others. And there's a nice verse. It's from the 8th canto. Does anybody have the 8th canto? Do you have it, Namruchi? Do you have it on your phone? Oh, you have it on a phone. Okay, let Namruchi read it though. Okay, I like the way he reads. He reads very clear and powerful. And it's for him too, this verse. 8th canto, 7th chapter, verse number 44. 8-7-44. 44. I think Lalit Govinda would love to hear this verse. Nice and clear, loud, so people can hear it in outer space too.
It is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart.
Read it again.
It is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart.
So that type of worship is a ticket back to Godhead. In other words, you put all your own interests aside just to save the fallen conditioned souls. So this is just a little insight in what it means to actually preach Krishna consciousness, because people in this age generally don't want it. They generally don't want it. Or if they want spiritual life, they want spiritual life and material happiness side by side, which generally doesn't work in the long run. It may work. You're smiling, okay. Give it up, it doesn't work. It goes on for a little while, but after a while, one of the two will reign supreme. Either spiritual life will push out material desires, or material desires will water down your spiritual life ultimately. So they just don't mix. Anyway, so this is an interesting verse. Anyway, okay. So I know you're going all out on Harinam. What time is the Harinam?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. So 9:45? Okay, I'll stop here. We can speak a lot more about Balaram tonight. Thank you for bringing that pastime up. I'll bring it up again tonight with more detail. Balaram is very merciful, and he's manifested himself in an unlimited form of mercy, Lord Nityananda. No difference between Balaram and Nityananda. So if you pray to Lord Nityananda, you're praying to Balaram also. They're the same person, two different names, two same person, that's all. And what is his mercy? Bodo suker kabogai, bodo suker kabogai, surabi kundeche, namirda kuche, koda nitai. Lord Nityananda is going everywhere throughout the world, and he's setting up a shop What is his shop? He's a merchant. He's a vanik. He wants to sell something. What's his product? His product is the holy name. And you got to pay. It's not free. He's not giving it out free. But the currency is not money. It's faith. It's faith. How much faith do you have in the holy name? Will show you how much mercy you receive. Therefore, if you have €5 worth of faith, that's not enough. You'll go broke soon. So, if you have full faith in the holy name, and you chant the holy name with that faith, that holy name will take you back to Godhead. It's so powerful. And that's the mercy of Lord Nityananda. He's going everywhere, trying to wake up the conditioned souls to accept the chanting of the holy name, Lord Chaitanya's mercy in this age. Srila Prabhupada's special kindness. Okay, thank you very much. We'll see you all later on. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Lord Balaram ki jai, Gauda Premanande, Hari Hari Bo, Hare Krishna.
Nismo vidjeli.